Heklina was a drag artist, a celebrated international drag artist, and her death in Soho 2 years ago seems to be disregarded. Is this an evidence of Metropolitan Police homophobia or incompetence? Either way, it doesn't make our police force in the UK look impressive. This was a towering figure in international drag and the LGBTQ plus culture. Heklinka, born Stefan Grigelko, who was found dead in a London flat by her close friend and co-performer Peaches Christ. 2 years on, there's still no official cause of death, no arrests, no clarity, and instead there's a fog of delay, a disturbing lack of urgency, a growing public anger over whether this is simply stupidity or institutional prejudice. It's not that the Metropolitan Police has been innocent of either in the past. Heklina was not just a performer, she was a pioneer, a founder of the iconic San Francisco nightclub Oasis, an originator of the infamous Tranny Shack drag show, and a queer community pillar whose influence crossed continents. Her art was radical, subversive, joyfully defiant, and she created space for others when none existed. And her death deserved immediate, serious investigation, and that hasn't happened. Instead, it's become a case study in bureaucratic malaise and discrimination and apathy. In London, to perform Mummy Queerist in Soho Theatre, Heklina was staying with Peaches Christ, and Peaches left the flat one evening to give Heklina privacy, and the next morning she returned to find the door ajar and her friend dead inside, still in drag in what was described as a compromising position. The police called the death unexpected, and that, one might argue, is the only prompt thing they've said about it. It took nearly 2 years to release CCTV footage of 3 men leaving the flat. It took public protest, media pressure, and transatlantic outrage to even get that. No witness appeals were made at the time. Emails from next of kin went unanswered for months. Heklina's phone, seized by police, sat unanalyzed for over a year. If this were the death of a banker in Belgravia, would we still be waiting for answers? I think not. The LGBTQ plus community is not whispering anymore. They are shouting. Peter Tatchell, Peaches Christ, Cheddar Gorgeous, Crystal have all explicitly accused the Met of systemic failure and institutional homophobia. Their placards say it all. We deserve justice, not discrimination. Queer safety over police power. End Met police homophobia now. And these claims don't arise in a vacuum. The 2023 Casey Review, commissioned after the murder of Sarah Everard, declared the Met to be institutionally homophobic, racist, and misogynist. It highlighted past failings and, most damningly, the mishandling of the Stephen Port murders, where 4 gay men were drugged and killed while police insisted the deaths were unconnected. And now there's another case where a queer person in a non-normative body, in a non-normative setting, dies, and the state apparatus appears to roll over and go back to sleep. This isn't just about Heklina. This is about trust, the ability of a community to believe that its safety matters, and that its dead are mourned and not ignored, that its questions will be answered, not sidelined. And the Met's inertia in this case has destroyed what little faith many queer people still have in British policing. Drag artists today are facing escalating hostility. Small venues are closing, homophobic rhetoric is intensifying, and still people have to beg for justice. The message is loud and clear. If somebody is queer, gender non-conforming, and they die under unclear circumstances, the case may be shelved, unless they have friends who are famous and relentless. There are probably 4 things that should be done. First, the coroner's report and the cause of death must be publicly released. Second, the Metropolitan Police must offer a full apology for the communications failures. Third, an independent investigation needs to be opened into the handling of this case. And fourth, the Metropolitan Police should provide an update on implementing the Stephen Port inquest recommendations, particularly regarding GHB-related deaths and community liaison protocols. This shouldn't be another headline or another placard or another funeral. This should be a step towards a solution. Heklina gave her life to performance, to joy, to community, and her legacy is not just wigs and wit, but spaces for people to be safe, expressive, and free. She built a world that made more room. The least we can do today is to ensure that she didn't die in a vacuum of prejudice. And what I find so extraordinary is while the BBC and the media celebrates things like RuPaul's Drag Race, when there is real concern about prejudice and danger, the world seems to turn its back on the drag community and ignore its hurt. This is something that should have commanded attention, and this is something that should have commanded action, and it's done neither.